recording. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, TakeOver had some war games. Impact had some final resolution. AEW had some interpromotional blah, blah, blah. And we're going to get I don't even have interpromotional in my mouth right now. No intermouth and no. We're going to get into all that and more this week on
Breaking Down. You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. The cream rise to the top. Oh, yeah. Homestead 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list.
This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The F Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
And you're listening
And you're listening to
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Bring it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening, you are watching, you are paying attention to the most inappropriate pro wrestling show in the motherfucking world. You are listening to Breaking Down the Ring, and we are your ring crew.
I'm just Smitty.
And I'm just Z, copycat
And I'm
motherfucker.
Justin Bieber. No,
Are you?
no,
Queer.
I knew you looked a little weird.
you know, I am lonely. And me, Almighty One, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, fucking hi.
Are you?
I'm not. Someone will be soon.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's recreational now. It's legal. Do it. A lot of stuff happened this week. TakeOver War Games 2020 happened. We're going to talk about all of the matches that happened in that. AEW did finally show up into other promotions. Impact Wrestling, Kenny Omega showed up with a bus interview, which was a crazy interview if you know the history of wrestling. Like, that was an interview that tied in a lot of stuff, and we'll get into that, as well as, you know, things that are happening on Impact. Our good friend Rohit Raju was fucking screwed, and we'll get into that a little bit. But first, I want to talk about something that hit earlier this week, and it was it's a part of wrestling, not a part of wrestling, but part of wrestling, and his history. Tiny Lister, you know, he's hugely known for playing Debo in the Friday series. He's had some other bit roles here and there, but he also played Zeus in No Holds Barred against Hulk Hogan. And as our good friend Walt said, Hogan buries another one. So,
What's that smell?
What?
What's that smell?
Yeah.
Dookie. It's
So-
one of the greatest, worst ham lines of all time, still.
For sure. So, 62 years old, Tommy Tiny Lister passed away December 10th. And again, man, he was. It's amazing it's really amazing to me how a dude like that is all over movies that you love, but you really only remember him from the one spot. But you see him in all kinds of other things.
Well, that's because he didn't really play a lot of starring roles. He always played like secondary roles. But the minute you see him, he's so recognizable that, I mean, you do forget he's in certain pictures. But at the same time, like when I looked up his filmography, he's in a lot of shit. A lot.
Yeah. I was watching Little Nicky when I read on social media that he passed.
And I forgot until you mentioned that he was one of the brothers in Little Nicky.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Obviously, you know, he's really known for the Friday series. Any wrestling fan knows him from No Holds Barred. But like the amount of movies that the dude has been in and that he's known for, like he was in The Dark Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like one of the guys. He was actually, when the Joker was trying to get everyone to blow everyone up, he was the guy that took the thing and threw it over. And you know, he's like, "Give it to me. You could tell them I took it away from you. Whatever. Blah blah blah." And he, you know, just apart. But what?
I was gonna say, isn't he in Con Air as well?
I don't want to say no to that because I didn't go that far into his.
IMDb is our friend.
I'm on IMDb. I didn't go that far into it. I forgot he was on Nitro.
Oh yeah,
he did have.
He jumped ship, man. He fucking jumped ship, bro. Z Gangsta.
Didn't he have a match with Hogan, or were they just using him as a promo for No Holds Barred?
No, he actually had matches in WWE.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I don't exactly remember him. But.
He had some matches. He was part of a Survivor Series match. I think he was there for like 2 years.
As the Zeus character, right?
Yes.
No, he was not in that.
Okay.
But it's crazy, man. You know, just talking about some of the fucking movies he did. You know, I got the hookup. I still love that movie.
Man, Master P, just being Master P, honestly. Seriously, because that guy would do anything. He would, if it's an entrepreneurial venture, he'll do it.
And he's been successful at everything he's ever done.
Right.
He actually played for the Raptors, and I'm like, what the heck? I didn't know he played. I knew he tried out for the Raptors, but I didn't know he actually played a game.
Yep. Austin Powers, Gold member. He was in. You know, like I said, Dark Knight. Dude was in. Trying to find things like the IMDb.
He was the voice of Finnick. Well. He was the voice of Finnick in Zootopia.
Yep.
Which I just finally watched for the first time.
That's right. And then for some reason he was in the Human Centipede 3.
Oh God.
Was he the whole centipede?
Probably. Or he was the tiny one. But bottom line is, man, he obviously made a dent in wrestling. Obviously, you know, being on Nitro, being in WWF, being in something memorable. And we just want to say it sucks that he passed, and obviously show our respect to him as well. You know,
rest in power, my friend.
Yeah, what Smitty said. That's all I got.
All right.
No, all right. So let's talk about a little bit about War Games. War Games. Let's talk a little bit about it. It was quite a showing for me, man. I did so well on the NXT War Games card. Like, it's ridiculous, guys. Like, I don't know anybody who could have picked every loser possible. Like, I was great. If you were losing that match, I was picking you. So, yeah. Shit. But we're still up ahead of the pro wrestling scorecards, guys. And I mentioned that because, Z tried to give me shit about doing horrible in this pay-per-view.
In this, hold on. Let me give a little bit of a backstory so you don't, I was shitting on Mikey for doing so well in this past event that he had to go and dig out the all-time rating stats against PW scorecards just so he could be like, listen, man, just because I shit the bed this one time, I've been carrying this team the rest. So, my slight, taunting him to motivate him to do better backfired in my face. But it also made me realize that I'm doing way better than I thought I was.
Yeah, you're 4th overall in points. Yeah. Smitty, you're doing horribly.
Actually, I'm the only one that hasn't got a goose egg.
Yeah, but you're also towards the bottom of the list of points.
Yeah, like Walt's the only one doing worse than you on our team. That means you're not doing well. And then, and all 10 of us, you're number 8. But cool not having a goose egg. I got 2 of them. I got 2 of them.
I got one
overall.
I got one, and I'm in 4th.
So, good job on that not having a goose egg, Smitty.
Also,
like that makes me a good supporting role. I'm a 6th man at this point.
No.
And had I picked Gargano to win that match, I would have taken the whole PSW community.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, man.
Yep.
It's crazy though. Like I said, we're still in the lead. We're up 275 to 233. Nick was like, and there's only one event left. It's TLC. So Nick goes, hey, doesn't that mean that technically pro wrestling scorecards can't win? And I'm like, no,
because they could score 1 through 5 and win it.
Yeah, they 1 through 5 could destroy us. Plus, 2 of their guys could tie at number 1. And that's 30 points right there because number 1 gets 15 points. So we're not out of the woods yet. I'm confident, but it doesn't mean like right now we could be the Lions going into the 4th quarter. Okay.
Don't compare us to those bums.
Hey, what are you talking about, man? They're possibly in the wild card. It's not like I'm saying we're the Atlanta Falcons going into the 4th quarter.
What's the difference? They both lead to the 4th.
One has a shot at the playoffs. Not a good shot.
The other one was in the Super Bowl, up by 45, looking like a cakewalk.
And that's what happens when you cakewalk, man. Puff Daddy knows all about that. That's how you make a band. I love that you almost just spit that out. That's a good pull reference. So yeah, Takeover War Games, Pro Wrestling Scorecards versus BDR4. Again, if we win, and that's the real hope here, because personally, I love giving to charity, no matter what. So if we win, our cause is again something personal to us because Smitty had personal interaction with the place. So Smitty, again, go ahead and talk about it. Slow it down, break it down. Just have a good conversation about where if we beat PWS, where their $100 is going to.
That $100 donation will be going to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. The Capuchin Soup Kitchen is an affiliation with the Catholic Church, and they do community work and they help with the homeless. They do food drives. They provide blankets and stuff. They also do things around this time for underprivileged children as well. They have like toy drives and stuff like that. So I know when I was in high school, when I did my community service hours, I did most of them at the soup kitchen, and I also did community work with my grandmother's church there. So it's they do community work, and it's a really nice organization. It's a legit organization.
What you said it's called the Cabbage Soup Kitchen?
No,
Capuchin Soup. Capuchin Soup Kitchen.
Captain?
Capuchin. CAPU Chin. Capuchin.
Got it now. I didn't understand. I thought you were saying cabbage at first.
That's fine. Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Again, you guys can check that out for yourself at cskdetroit.org. Again, that's cskdetroit.org. PodcastDetroit.org. Again, like just everything that Smitty said, not only is it about what they've done around the city, it's how they're also doing things for the future. You know, one of my favorite things about their mission statement, I'll just read their entire mission statement to you. Inspired by the life and spirit of St. Francis of Assisi, we tend to people's basic needs, especially the need for food, strive to stimulate minds and nourish spirits, and work to understand and address root causes of social injustice in our community. In all we do, we seek to build alliances with others who share a commitment to this vision. And again, it's the third point of there that really makes me love this place the most, because working to understand and address root causes of social injustice in our community, that is something that everyone should work for, because I promise you, whatever you went to school, whatever history that you learned, it's not that way for a lot of it. You have to pay more attention and read and get deeper into things, because I promise you, you'll come to realize that there's a lot more history involved in the things that are happening now. And no matter what, you know, there's a saying that's, you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. Well, how can you be better if you honestly don't know where you truly been? You know, so I honestly appreciate a lot about them, because they are helping to give people a true history over things to, again, make everyone better. And that's what you really want, you know. That's just, you know, how it is. So
did you say Assisi's when you were reading the name?
St. Francis of Assisi, yes.
Okay.
ISI.
I know how to say it. I just like the way you say it better.
How do you say it?
It's not Assisi's. It's you just put more emphasis on the A. I don't want to make it. There you go. Yeah.
I went to Catholic school, and it was
so
never
did I.
pronounced that.
It was there was more emphasis on the A. It wasn't Assisi's, because I'm telling you right now, as a second grader in a Catholic school, if someone said sissy in class, I would have laughed.
That's why I laughed so much at it. Because they even, like, at church, it was fucking, because you got to go to church and school when you're in the Catholic school. And at church, it's like the St. Francis of Assisi. Yeah. And I'm like, like, oh my God, we're celebrating this dude who's a sissy. He's for all you pussies out there. Maybe not said pussy, but whatever. All for you sissies out there. That's how I always took it. So, yeah.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, so War Games. War Games, 6 matches in War Games, 5 on the main card. It kicked off with the women's War Game match. Team Candice got the win. Again, Team Candice was Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. And they beat Team Shotzi, which is Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. Smitty, I want to start off with you talking about this. Tell me what you thought of the match. Did it surprise you with the ending and things like that? And I say do that because I have to go get something to drink. I am like, something's going on. So just talk.
All right, so first and foremost, I thought all the matches on this card were pretty decent. When it came to the women's War Games match, like, my problem with it is what a lot of people say about a lot of these AEW or these hardcore matches. I feel like it was just a super spot fest to a certain degree. It had its moments, but it wasn't the best match on the card.
Okay, I got a question right off rip. In a gimmick match like this, aren't they expected to kind of be like spot fest?
Well, like, the men's War Games match, it wasn't this gimmicky or spotty.
Right. But now, in the interest of not trying to give you the same thing twice in one night, they probably looked at the women's match and go, okay, they did this, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? Just to have
I'm not knocking the match by any means. It wasn't one of my favorite ones on the card.
What, the women's War Games match?
Yeah, he's upset because he thinks it was a spot fest, but with a gimmick match like that, you almost expect a spot fest.
I thought the fucking women's War Game match was way better than the men's.
I love the men's better.
I think I like the ending of the women's match because not that it was really a swerve, but everyone really thought that Team Shotzi was going over. So to have Team LeRae go over, that was pretty cool.
Right.
The last spot of the match
singles push
was brutal. And I mean, the women's match, I mean, you're saying it was a high spot fest, but I mean, it was pretty hard hitting as well. Like and the psychology behind it too. Yeah, the more I talk about it, Smitty, the more wrong you become.
That women's match was spectacular. Keep trying to keep Io Shirai out the entire time. Candice getting in.
Well, so all of that kind of made her technically the last entrant.
Okay, all of the advantage that Shotzi's team was supposed to have was gone at the end of it with Candice getting in and Io not being able to be in there. The telling of the story for that. And then, obviously, like Z said, now Candice is all in there, and it's like, oh, my God, that advantage went away. So they're for sure going to lose. And then still, they lost. They won. Like, it was built up in every sense of the word to make you feel Shotzi's team was winning, and they lost. It was an amazing match with amazing moves. The men's match was all right, man. But again, we'll get into that. But like, this match was phenomenal. Like, I'm trying to figure out why you're going in, Mr. is going into Spot Fest, but
I was more impressed. And I was really impressed with Dakota Kai in this one. So it wasn't my favorite match.
So
I'm
let
not
me get
knocking
this
it
straight. So basically, what you're saying is it didn't go the way you wanted to go. It to go, so you got mad, and it's not your favorite match.
No.
Well, hold on, because this is also not my favorite match of the night. Like, to me, this wasn't match of the night, but it was. I mean, like Smitty started out saying, every match on this card was at least decent, if not good, and some of them were great. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I kind of understand where he's coming from with the card. It was still a good match, but it's his least favorite of the night, I guess.
That's your least favorite?
Second. Nope, second.
Oh, his second least favorite of the night.
Okay, so let's just go into it then. What's your least favorite match, Smitty?
The strap match.
Fair.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Why?
Why is it fair or
No, why is it his least favorite match?
I've never been a fan of the strap match to start off with. And the whole Dexter Loomis's character as a babyface, I just can't get behind it.
Dexter Loomis is not a babyface.
They're booking him like a babyface.
That's fine, but his character is not a babyface. His character is not a heel. His character is the weird tweener, and it's actually a really good character that nobody's done before, and you can go either way with it. Like, look at you. You think he's a babyface right now, but nothing they've really done, even on commentary, necessarily states that he's a face or a heel for that matter. He just shows up and looks creepy as fuck.
I'm not the way they portray in character. Like, I'm just not behind the gimmick. Psycho torture artist, serial killer just doesn't work for me the way that NXT is presenting this character.
Yeah, but you're looking at it like
what he was introduced as, though.
Huh?
It's better than what he was introduced. His original gimmick was in NXT. Nazi.
Yeah. Vince is still trying to get that Nazi character over.
Yeah, it was
trying to do that with Hayden, right?
With Des and Daniel. They had went to the Las Vegas NXT house show, and that's where Dexter Loomis made his debut, and he was a fucking Nazi.
Vince has been trying to do this Nazi gimmick for damn near 15 years now. You try to do it with Hayden, right?
No. It was not good. I think my problem with the strap match, and it's actually my problem with WWE a lot lately. The original rules of these matches where there was like a specific gimmick, to the point where even now with like TLC coming up, I'm going to hate the fuck out of this pay-per-view. I already know it because I'm going to be so annoyed with things. Like someone's going to have a chairs match. Someone's going to have a tables match. Someone's going to have a ladders match, right? And the original liners of these matches is the only thing legal is the are the thing that you're able to use in the match. Ladders are legal. That doesn't mean you get to hit someone with a chair. That's an illegal move. It's not
On
a
the
TLC match.
But not. You're right, but in a ladder match, you've always been allowed to use other things. Like there are no. It's kind of like a triple threat match. Like a triple threat match, technically, you can use a weapon, and they've utilized that more over the years.
Right.
But if you watch the original triple threat match or the first 10 triple threat matches, nobody used a weapon. Although in the rules, there's nothing stating you can't.
Right, because there's no DQ.
So in a ladders match,
That's how I do a ladders match.
A ladders match, you should be able to, utilize the environment around you in the match. But if you're going to have a tables match later, you're not going to pull out a table. And in a chairs match, I totally agree with you that if it's called a chairs match, the only weapon legal to use is a chair. If you use a pipe, if you use a kendo stick, anything else, you are disqualified because you are only allowed to use a chair.
Same thing with a strap match. The strap is the only thing that you should be able to use on your opponent that's legal and not get disqualified. But again, it's not how it happens. It's not how it goes. And that's my huge problem with things is the reason that it's set up that these things are not legal is because of other matches on the card. And when you're using those things, you're not allowing another match to tell a story. You're taking away from the entire card. Excuse me. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying about them deviating from the original rules of the match. But I think this match was to combat the Cody Brody Lee strap match, which honestly was probably the best strap match I have ever seen. Mm-hmm. And since they went out of the ring and since they used certain things, WWE probably was like, make it as brutal as you can, make it like theirs. And X-Pac, not that his opinion really matters to anybody, but he said that Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes is the best strap match he's ever seen. And I was like, that's false, dude. You're totally just pandering to the WWE audience at this point, because although it was a good strap match, it wasn't there was no wow factor. It was just, old school, beat 'em up. The psychology was a little wonky in that match. But I mean, it was an okay strap match. I don't think it was complete garbage. I definitely enjoyed it. But to come out and say, like, the best one you've ever seen, I don't necessarily agree with that.
The fact that
I agree because, hell, man, even when Cameron Grimes comes out and he goes, this is the strap we're using this one. And the ref's like, this is the official one. He goes, no, I'm not only doing it with this one. Then nothing was done with that match. It's not like it had a special detached thing, anything. It was just a regular strap. So I get that the original use of it was to distract Dexter Lumis, and then he just went into him, but it played no other part in that match. And when you make such a big deal about it, something should be done.
Yeah, but also it kind of was, and I think its only purpose was to distract everybody so then he could beat the shit out of Lumis. And he just oversold it. So you as a fan are expecting something to happen with the strap, but it already happened. So I get how
it's
that
a
would
missed
be
opportunity.
It is. I mean, I was kind of expecting somebody to kind of like get hung over the ropes, not like brutally, but at least for, 4 seconds or whatever. An interesting concept I came up with in my head for a strap match is, although there are no rules, they should enforce rules. Like, you should have to keep it inside the match, and there should be like a 10, 20 second count out or something, because then you could play with the finishes a little bit. Because I was thinking, like, how cool would it be if, like, Cameron Grimes, for example, who's like the squirrely heel in this particular feud, if he went and wrapped himself around the pole so Dexter couldn't get in and won by count out. Like, that would be pretty cool. And that's something you could establish rules and make it different.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think something needs to be done more to these type of matches because hi Allie, bye Allie. Because of how these things are just getting redundant. So Z, let's just talk about what was your favorite match of War Games?
Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah,
hands down.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I was on that one. That was my favorite as well.
Cool. I'll talk to you later about yours.
It was, I expected it to be hard hitting with those two. So you had a hard hitting match. You basically had in the middle of War Games where you just had a strap match where you used weapons, or in the two cage matches, you're going to see weapons. Like this was just an old-fashioned wrestling match. It was two guys with two different styles. One of them is just they're both very intense, but one of them is more like a working hold versus a punch you in the mouth kind of guy. And watching the two of them create a match that suited both of them was great. The psychology behind this match, the way Ciampa won, I don't know. I just really enjoyed this match. And I might be slightly biased because the two men in this match are my two favorite wrestlers in NXT. Like Ciampa's always been on the top of my list as far as a favorite in NXT. And Thatcher, from just watching his in-ring work, got himself over in my book. Like it started out like he was almost like a Benoit type of character where he didn't have a lot to say, but he was very intense and like could work the arm, make you submit, stretch you, like kind of like a Stu Hart dungeon kind of gimmick where, he's had his little students and he gets them in the ring and he stretches them and all that. So, I'm a fan of that. That's it's always grabbed my attention. And then he goes and does it in the ring, and everything he does is believable. And he's the type of guy where you look at him and you're like, Vince would never hire him. He doesn't have the look. He's missing a couple of teeth. He basically, when he first came on, I was like, wow. So Dean Ambrose 2.0, because he kind of looks just like Dean Ambrose does, especially when he wears like the beater and jeans. But I could talk about Timothy Thatcher and like the things he's done to impress me since he's been on TV for hours. So,
Smitty, why was it your favorite match?
It was one of those hard hitting matches, and it was one of those gut checks. It was in the middle of a show where you had gimmick matches. It was nice to have this. This was something nice. Timothy Thatcher's, every time I see him in the ring, he impresses me more and more. And he's shown he has charisma with the Thatch can stuff that he's been doing on NXT.
You guys realize this was the second match, right?
Yep.
Okay, because both of you said the middle of the show with the strap match and everything. I was like, what? I
didn't say the middle of the show. I just said it was, you have all these other gimmick matches, and then you have this match that there's no, you know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, I feel like it was meant to try to be a cool down match, but I was more excited after watching that match. What everything else that was to come on the show.
See, I don't think NXT has cool down matches because we always talk about how good NXT pay-per-views are. Every match is really good. So I totally know that WWE throws in cool down matches. There are matches they throw in that you're like, I don't give a fuck about this.
Well, when you have 12, I was gonna say, when you have 12 matches on the card, though, you need a filler cool down match here or there.
Right. This is a 5-match pay-per-view. You're bookending it with your the pay-per-views, the names of the pay-per-view, the gimmick matches for the show. So you're starting off with the War Games, you're ending with the War Games. Obviously, you're going to throw the other ones in the middle of it. And because of the way NXT goes, I can't say there is a cool-down match. And I agree with you guys. I think this match was phenomenal. It was great to watch. I hope Thatcher's ear is okay because I'm pretty sure fucking Ciampa blew his fucking eardrum out when he hit him with that knee.
He was fine on Wednesday.
Okay, doesn't mean his eardrum's okay. So,
That is a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, now he's missing, now he looks more like Picasso than Dean Ambrose because he's missing an ear and got a couple teeth.
But yeah, I agree with you guys. I thought this match was spectacular, start to finish. They fucking beat the shit out of each other, and it was good. And it felt like it went a really long time. They gave it 16 minutes, almost 17, right? And these gentlemen just fucking went at it. And I can't say anything bad about it. Now, a match I can say some bad things about was the triple threat match for the North American Championship. And I can say bad things about it because it just seemed like the story they were trying to tell made no sense to me, right? Like the entire build for this match was Ciampa wanting to get at fucking Damian Priest, and Damian Priest fucking over Johnny Gargano wanting to get at Damian Priest, and then Damian Priest fucking over Johnny Gargano, to where Leon Ruff was just like, guys, I'm fucking here. Yet the match never took that spot. Not once. It was sometimes Priest was like, get out of my way, I'm trying to be a good guy to you, to Leon Ruff. But not once in this match, outside of when the possible injury fucking happened, which was a dumb, stupid type, hey, you went through the barricade. Everyone goes through fucking barricades. It's not
the barricade's a fucking pad.
Right. Like, are you fucking kidding? This is what took you out. I was more concerned about the lady that fell in the background taking out the other barricade than I was.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, what the fuck with that? The bottom line is there was so much that could be built into this match that they just didn't utilize. And I felt like this was, to me, the biggest letdown of a match. Like, you guys are talking the fucking strap match being the worst match. I just never got into this match as much as I should have. There were spots that were good, but you literally made Leon Ruff look like he can't do shit. Like the entire fucking match, you shit all over him. Not once did barely anything hurting Damian Priest, right? Like, I get that you're trying to build a David and Goliath type thing there, but eventually David's got to do something. And he did nothing to Damian Priest this entire fucking match, right?
I wasn't all right with the ending.
Huh?
Wait, the hokey ending kind of pissed me off too with the ghost face and all that.
Dumb. The person they revealed was fucking horrible. Every fucking thing about this match I thought was absolute shit. The story in it, the build was one way to where that match could have been spectacular to watch. It was not. Fucking Austin Theory coming out as the dude behind Scream, hey, I'm going to take my mask off, and that was the guy in the Scream mask. Is that how you raped the 13-year-old?
It's me, Austin. It's me all along.
Okay, hold on. So, first of all, I agree with you with this is the worst match of the night. All I said about the strap match was I could see how Smitty would think it was the worst match of the night. This was. And for the exact reasons you said, the build-up to this thing was great. The build-up to this thing was two guys using Leon Ruff to fuck with the other guy, and in the process of things, Leon Ruff becomes your North American champion. Awesome, great. When we were doing our scorecards, I picked Leon Ruff to win because I thought he wouldn't get a lot of attention in this match. I thought it would basically be Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. They beat the shit out of each other, and at the last second, Leon Ruff comes in for the pin and wins the title back, making them both look stupid. I think that would have been a better ending. The thing I did forget about was the ghost mask. Had I remembered that Candice and Johnny have these little minions running around, it would have changed my pick because that the way they inserted the ghost masks people into this match was good. The way they used them was not. I did think when Austin Aries took off the mask. Austin Theory. Yeah, I don't want to get those two mixed up because that's bad for Austin Aries. But Austin,
he's hurt his own reputation enough.
Yeah, but then from using his mouth, not touching people he shouldn't touch.
Again, still using his mouth.
All right. Fuck. Well, so I thought the play on the 1990 feud or 1999 feud with The Undertaker and everything, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. I thought that was really clever. And had it been anybody else named Austin, I would have fucking loved it. But you have this guy who's been accused of, and now there's video evidence of him like
coercing a young girl.
No, not forcing, like seducing. Like there's not an actual video of him hooking up with a 13-year-old. So, but there is like he sends inappropriate pictures, he sends inappropriate fucking comments. Like, you clearly have a sexual predator on your fucking payroll and you don't do a fucking thing about it. And you don't because the guy's talented. This led to my tweet earlier this week that if you're gonna hire sexual predators based on talent, then Chris Benoit needs to be in the fucking Hall of Fame on the same merit.
There you go. Smitty, what did you think about that triple threat match?
I feel like they should have had Leon Ruff win because you could take it a feud in general. Said whole Ghost, like, I'm not a big fan of the whole Ghostface thing. And like you said, the Austin Theory reveal, outside of the one line, I really didn't care for it. So it was on a lower tier, but it still wasn't my least favorite. Like I said, I just wasn't into the strap match. I
don't care about the strap match. I want to know.
I think the only thing that this was, like, I had anticipation for this match, and it did. It fell short. Because like I said last week, the whole Leon Ruff story, having him like go over like the 1, 2, 3 kid did against Scott Hall, against Razor Ramon back in the day, that builds a nice story. It gives Leon Ruff's character some development.
Well, with what happened on Wednesday, it takes Damian Priest completely out of the North American title picture, so you might see a carryover of Gargano versus Ruff going forward. So it'll still give Leon Ruff a little bit of spotlight, especially if he's working with Johnny. Johnny's going to make him look like $1 million.
And you also have the fact that he's also engaged to Audra Smith, who's one of the NXT referees. You can involve her and have him, and they can do some type of double turn.
I didn't even know that.
I fucking wish they would have done something with her. Like, that'd be really good to actually have a ref in your pocket.
Yeah, like Leon Ruff could make that heel turn with his wife to be being a referee in NXT.
What you guys are forgetting though, it's WWE, and they don't, even in NXT, other than Drake, they don't really utilize referees in their storylines.
Man, speaking of Drake.
What I do now?
You didn't do anything. Have you seen the shit that's going on about him?
Drake, the referee? The one that
the guy
was
that
a ring crew champion?
With?
Yeah.
He is like a QAnon guy, and he's like all over Parler spreading all the conspiracy theories. And people are bringing it up, and like he's like deleted social media accounts and everything because that dude is like
like squirrel shit.
Back to Austin Aries.
Same shit. All right.
Flat Earthers.
Now, let's get into the main event of this show, which was another fucking swerve for me. I guess it wasn't a swerve. The minute the first match ended, I knew who was winning the men's war game matches, because the reason I picked on my scorecard that Undisputed Era was going to lose is because I was picking Shotzi's team to win, right? So it just makes sense that it's going to flip-flop one heel, one face. So the Undisputed Era goes over for only the second time in 4 War Games matches. Again, that's Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Bobby Fish. And they beat Team McAfee, who is Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, and the NXT Tag Team Champions, Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. Smitty, talk about this match.
See, I was really impressed with this match. Like, Pat McAfee impresses every time he gets in the ring, every time he's on the mic. Like I say, that fucking swanton he hit from the top was fucking beautiful. Say, the wiffle ball bats. I did laugh at the wiffle ball bats when Birch came in with the wiffle ball bats.
The cricket bats?
The cricket bats?
The cricket bats. I don't know why I said wiffle ball.
Because they were made out of the same thing that wiffle ball bats are made out of. Let's not pretend that they're a real cricket bat.
I mean, and anyone that's actually seen a cricket bat, it looks like one of those fucking college paddles. It doesn't look like a piece of foam with a handle.
That was
I
love the TMNT reference, by the way. That fucking he was like when he was like Casey Jones, when he brought up Casey Jones, Jones made a Casey Jones reference. I was like, fuck yeah. Because that's the only way I know of a fucking cricket bat.
Yeah.
You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
Yeah.
Like Kyle O'Reilly shined, like they've been just polishing Kyle O'Reilly over the last couple months on NXT. So like just his performance was fucking phenomenal. He went from pillar to post for the whole match. It was a really good match, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was the best way to close out the show.
Z, talk about it.
CM Punk made a reference. It was either last week or the week before. And it basically said that if Pat McAfee is cutting the best promos on basically saying all of the WWE shows he's cutting the best promos, that the talent should feel embarrassed about it. Like, and he even went further to say, like, not that I'm saying that they suck, but it should be motivation to do better. If a guy that doesn't really work within the business is cutting better promos than everybody should take this as a time to step their fucking game up. And then I didn't know what to expect when they first signed Pat McAfee. I thought he was going to be a commentator. I didn't know that it was rumored that he might do some in-ring stuff. And that first match with Adam Cole, I was like, okay, like, dude gets it. Dude needs a little bit of training, but he gets it as far as what to do in the ring with psychology, how to work with people. I mean, granted, he was in there with Adam Cole, so he probably was made to look a lot better than he actually was. But ever since Pat McAfee has stepped in the ring, he's impressed me. His moonsault is fucking beautiful. It sucks that when he did it in the match, it looked like they botched the catch. It looked like they botched the catch, or he might have overshot it, because his ass and legs hit the mat pretty fucking hard. And I was like, ooh, like that probably stung a little bit. But his in-ring psychology, man, it's great. He knows how to tell a story. Yeah, I mean, his wrestling obviously needs some work. It's kind of like what Bubba says on Busted Open, where if you can only do 5 things, make sure that you do those 5 things to the absolute best of your ability. And I feel like Pat McAfee does that. He doesn't have a very big arsenal right now of wrestling moves, obviously, because he's new, but he does, about 3 or 4 things in the ring, and they are absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, he just gets it. And I think if he's going to have an in-ring career, I'm willing to watch where it goes, because like I said, he's impressed me every time he steps into the ring.
And then you got to think about it, man. Like you said, one, he impresses every time you get in the ring. But then you hear stories about Rob Gronkowski. And now Rob Gronkowski was too scared to take a little jump. And you got Pat McAfee doing all kinds of shit, right? This is a dude who was a fucking punter in the NFL versus a guy who is a fucking tight end who is what?
But you gotta remember that Gronk is kind of like Kevin Nash. If he moves the wrong way, he gets injured.
Still, there's a huge thing where there's like one doesn't take as much fear, right? I'm not trying to knock down McAfee's fucking punting career and say he was a little bit. It's the bitch position in the NFL, but
no, because he used to hit people like he was a fucking linebacker.
Right. That's why I'm not trying to knock it down, because that's what a lot of people think. You know, you're the kicker. No one's really supposed to touch it. You know, so it's the bitch position, but it's not true, because that kicker, McAfee, was a fucking beast. So, but you get into here and you see everything with it, and you're just like, man, hearing a story about Gronk not being able to fall 10 feet.
Vince took it.
So, yeah, Vince had to take it. And now you're seeing McAfee do all these fucking things in the ring. It's like, bro.
But, okay, slight difference is Gronk was a fan of wrestling growing up and wanted to be a part of it. They asked him to do a jump. He's like, he's scared, right? Like, if I fall from 10 feet, if these guys don't catch me, like, he's probably got all these questions going in his head. Whereas McAfee was actually like, did some indie wrestling and shit and understands that you have to trust the talent on the ground to jump. So, like, yeah, I'm jumping from 10 feet, but I know these guys got my back, so here I go. Like, whereas Gronk is probably a little less trustworthy because he doesn't really follow the business. He was just a fan as a kid, and he's a big name, so they brought him in. Whereas, like, Pat McAfee clearly loves wrestling.
Right.
You can see it.
And, like, what's even better is he went on his fucking podcast the next fucking day and wore a neck brace. He was still selling war games, and that is amazing. Like, in a time where kayfabe is basically fucking dead, he still goes on his show the next day and fucking sells the shit out of it. Like, that's great. That's great for the business. Like, that. Like I said, he just gets it.
That was for McAfee was really good in there. And like I said, it made sense for him to be last because we know everybody in that match could go, and McAfee he pulled his weight,
and he can shine as like a Bobby Heenan type manager where he doesn't wrestle all of the time, but you know, Heenan in his heyday as a manager would get in the ring and take bumps as a manager as part of like a 6-man tag and shit.
Yeah, like when it was AWA with Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, so like. You could do the same thing with McAfee as he, you know, hones his in-ring skills. I mean, I don't know if they'll
MVP's doing it with the Hurt Business right now too. A kind of role like that where he's kind of managing and doing in-ring stuff.
Right. So I mean, the cool thing about Pat McAfee is since he's new and he seems to be fitting in the role really well of what he's doing. You storyline wise, creative wise, you can do anything you want with him, really.
He's a clean slate.
And again, he's a welcome surprise in all of this when you're not expecting, like, think about it. We were talking months ago about, man, what's WWE going to do with this roster? It's like basically you got a few people that people know. And again, NXT just surprises you. You know, it's just really sad to say that they surprise us because we should just not expect a surprise anymore.
I don't.
They build up everyone so well. They do. Go ahead.
Nope. I was going to say, we used to talk about it all the time on the show. Like the show, well, what is it? Normally like the takeover after WrestleMania, and they call a bunch of people up and we come on our show the following week and they're like, oh, they took this person from NXT and this person from NXT. Like, what the fuck are they going to do? And Triple H just moves like it's like he's playing fucking chess, man. He just moves pieces in different fucking positions and carries on about the fucking game. And he's done it every time to the point where I'm no longer surprised. I look at the roster and go, well, they'll figure it out. They always do.
Right. Yeah, I look at the piece when they bring in a new PC recruits, and I'm like, oh, I know this person, this person, this person. They should do fairly well in NXT.
So they only signed 2 of the 3 members of the Rascals then?
Yeah, they signed
Dez
and Wentz.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I didn't see Trey Miguel in there.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's thinking in between AEW and WWE. He hasn't signed yet.
Okay.
All right. So, what do you rate War Games, Smitty, out of 10?
8.5.
Okay. Z?
I got a solid 7.
I'd like around 7.5. Again, it was really good show.
Over judgment.
You said what?
Apparently, I'm the Paul Abdul when it comes to judging these pay-per-views.
Yeah, which, like, when you said that number, my first thought was, didn't you just hate one of these matches? How are you giving anything overall?
I didn't hate. I already said earlier. I didn't hate anything. I enjoyed everything, but there were just certain things I liked more than others.
I thought you hated the strap match.
No, he okay. So at the very beginning of the show, when you got up and walked away and told him to talk, he said that every match on this card was at least decent. And then when he went into the strap match, he was saying that if he had to pick one to hate, that would be the one he hated, not that he hated it.
Okay. Yeah, it was 7.5 because no match on this fucking card to me was outside of, like, I really loved Thatcher Ciampa, but I wouldn't sit back and go, man, that match was a Matt classic. I would say it was a really good match, but I can't say it's a Matt classic. And if you're not giving me anything like that, then I can't give you anything over than a 7.5. Like, great. It's a great pay-per-view. It's not a holy shit, this is one of my favorite pay-per-views, right? So
I think I rated one pay-per-view this year an 8.5. So giving my ranking for this, I was kind of going off of that, like, this was a good pay-per-view. Like, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't jumping up and down like, oh my God, that was the best pay-per-view I've seen all year. But, you know, as NXT always does, it delivered with a solid pay-per-view from top to bottom.
100%. And in the news, before we go into AEW, Impact Wrestling, all of that stuff, Smitty brought up how people come in from the PC for NXT and how he's excited. And there was news this week that people were sent to the PC. Some people look at it as a demotion. I don't give a shit. I think it's a good thing. But so Smitty, you brought it up. Let's talk about who it is that they're sending to the PC. Keith Lee is obviously the big name that everyone's like, what the fuck? Otis, Dabba-Kato, Dio Madden, and Omos have also been sent to the PC. Omos is the guy the big tall dude that stands behind AJ. Dio Madden, obviously, in Retribution. Otis is the guy that just, you know,
I fucked over.
I love him.
He's an alpha. He's an alpha.
Dabba-Kato. Smitty, what are your thoughts on this?
I said 3 of those when I first initially read it. Once again, the Keith Lee surprised everybody. There's rumors that Otis works stiff, so that's why they want to send him. But I'm like, nah, bitch, don't like fat guys. But the other 3, they're all pretty green, so I can see why sending them down. Sending them for some extra in-ring training. But that's because the initial part was they're going down for additional in-ring training. Yeah. So that's why the whole key, like, the fuck. Why keep
Smitty, let me ask you a question. Who's the greatest basketball player in the world right now?
LeBron James.
Okay. Who is the greatest football player in the world right now?
That's highly debatable because depending on...
True, like but just give me who you think it is.
I'm a big Derrick Henry fan, so okay. I'll probably say...
that was the worst
baseball?
Yeah, I do every night. Like, I'm not as
Who do you think is a really good baseball player right now?
Aaron Judge.
Okay. Right. So
I just picked one off the top of my head.
But you gave off 3 of the top athletes in each of their respective sports, right? And you would assume that, you know, these guys are great. They're obviously really good. How often do they practice?
Well, let's see, Iverson, you practice. You talk about practice.
Still, how often do they practice?
Probably most days out of the week.
Very good. So, to me, now granted, I also know that Vince is a dick, right? Let's not pretend like this isn't anything, but Vince going, these guys need to have a little bit better of a work ethic. I love Keith Lee. I'm not trying to knock Keith Lee in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, I think Keith Lee should have been going to the fucking Performance Center by his goddamn self anyway. Like, you're really fucking good. Go get some more reps in. Because right now, wrestling is way different than it has ever been. Currently, at this moment, you're wrestling one show a week.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to touch upon that when you got to me, that there's no live shows. So if there were live shows, Keith Lee, all 5 of these guys would probably be on a house show every night, getting their reps in, getting better. But you no longer have that every day of the week. So now twice a week, I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, they go down to the Performance Center and train with Gulak and Adam Pearce. With Keith Lee, like, a lot of people are mad because they're like, well, he doesn't need work. I think he does, because in NXT, he worked a completely different style that worked for him. Ever since he came up to Raw, they asked him to work a slightly different style, and I feel like it's fucking with his head, and you can see it in his in-ring performances. So what do? You set him down in the Performance Center so he can get more comfortable with the style they're trying to have him portray, and it's only going to make him better. Like, having extra reps is just making people better. So it's really not a bad thing. It's not like Vince was like, oh, Keith, you're complete shit. Like, go down to here and do that. No, he was like, hey, there's a few things you guys do in the ring I don't like. Why don't you go to the Performance Center and practice them? Like, he didn't fire him. He didn't get rid of him. He's not making him job. He's literally Vince is finally doing something that makes sense and wanting his future talents to get better.
Yeah, and that's why I hate the fact that I think it's more of a knock on Keith Lee that he has to be told to go to the Performance Center. I really honestly feel that way, because some of the best people in this industry are still have rings at their house and are taking reps, right? I understand that Keith Lee is not one of these money guys, like old school, guys that, that have the money to just buy their own house, buy the ring. He's freshly called up to Raw, right? So you're freshly called up to Raw. People in NXT, if you watch that 24, he was doubting himself a lot in NXT when he first came in. And they were like, just keep going. Do what you got to do. Give it time. But in NXT, you're constantly at the Performance Center as well, right? So he gets called up to Raw. I'm not positive that as a matter of fact, no, I am positive. Because if you have to be told to go to the Performance Center, you're not at the fucking Performance Center, right? Period. You should be working on your craft to be the best you can be as much as you can. I understand that this is a very physical sport with no padding, right? Like, I would say that taking a bump in wrestling, especially if you're doing something from the in-ring to the out of the ring or from the top rope to the fucking mat, is a lot more painful than 2 football players going at it, except for some of those hits, right?
Well, I was going to say, back when Orlando was on the show, he said, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure he compared taking a bump in wrestling to getting hit by a car at 35 miles an hour.
He did. You're 100% correct on that. And that's what I'm saying. So these guys should want to get better, run the ropes, they got those big fucking puffy things that you can land on if you're trying to, take more of the high risk stuff. I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing on Vince. I think it's a bad thing on these guys that they had to be told to go, right? And that's what no one's looking at is like, who fucking cares that they're told to go to the Performance Center? Get better. You want to be better. You want to be the top of your game, and that's where you practice. And I'm sorry, Allen Iverson you can make all the jokes about Allen Iverson's practice. How many fucking NBA championships did he win? So the guy that bitched about practice won 0 titles. Yet you got guys all running. Jordan has 6. Rodman, fucking Robert Ory. I'm not even talking about let's not even talk about the top guys. The fucking little guys who practiced and got their shit down. Robert Ory used to just fucking throw a fucking shot to, and then he would hit the three. That's what
They
he
shot Bob.
And he practiced it. And he practiced. So no matter fucking what, when you needed to count on him, he was there sinking that fucking shot. Right? That's what it is. Dennis Rodman.
You go, yeah, we're not going to talk about the top guys. Let's talk about Robert Ory, who has, I don't know, what, 7 or 8?
But I'm talking, but at the same time, when you're talking about the San Antonio Spurs, you're talking about fucking Tim Duncan, you're talking about Ginobili, you're talking, those are the top guys.
But at the end of that playoff series, you were talking about Robert Ory.
But that's what
cost Detroit that back-to-back.
Cast. That's why what I'm saying is they're not a top guy, but they're the top guy of the supporting cast. But that's why they can be counted on, is because what they did was perfect their craft. So the fact that these what?
Finish your. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. So the fact that these guys have to be told, "Hey, go get better," is okay.
Well, if that's you got was good for the goose, good for the gander. Send people like Carmilla and freaking Nia Jax down to the Performance Center as well, because we damn sure know that Nia Jax needs some work with the in-ring stuff. All right, Carmilla, even though she's getting better, she still needs work too.
I love Carmilla.
I like Carmilla too. I think she's gotten better in the ring. Although
that's what I said. She still needs work.
Yeah, but she was working on her physique, so she gained a couple pounds, but of muscle, and it really showed this past week on SmackDown. She didn't have the flexibility to lock in the code of silence, and you could see it. Sasha did a good job of like covering it up, but Carmella couldn't do that stretch anymore.
By the way, I thought it was dumb. They had them they're setting them up for TLC, but then they still have them clash on SmackDown this Friday. That was
dumb. Whatever. We're talking about something else right now.
There you go, Z.
Okay, so I'm an apprentice in a union, and there is a training center that is always open for me to go practice my skills, like for example, welding. But with them having classes, I have to call and make sure there's a spot open for me. So relating that to this, maybe it wasn't Keith Lee just avoiding going to the Performance Center. Maybe they were using the Performance Center. So Vince was like, all right, Tuesdays and Thursdays, here's your time slot, you 5 go. Like, you automatically get those days. You don't have to like show up and see if there's a spot. You know what I mean? It could be one of those deals. I'm just trying to deal,
I'm okay with it then. I agree with that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that. So you might be being a little too hard on them, but also we don't know the backstage shit. Like, were they not going? Because I'll tell you right now, if I got signed to WWE, I would be in that Performance Center every day. When Triple H was in WCW, their stories, he was at the power plant every single fucking day, lifting weights and working on shit and trying to get better.
And Damian Page was the same way.
Right. So I mean, like I don't want to call those guys lazy or anything along those lines without knowing, the full story.
I'm sorry if it's coming off as me calling them lazy. Complacent, I'll give you. Because again, it's not even like Keith Lee's bad, right? I'm not trying to say Keith Lee's bad. I think Keith Lee is one of the better workers on the entire WWE roster, be it Raw, SmackDown, NXT, right? I think he's in the top percentages of people. I love Keith Lee's in-ring work, right? But my thing is, if you're sitting there complacent, I have a problem with that. Because not a single fucking person who's been a great in any sport was ever complacent. They always worked better to make themselves better. And if that's what it is with Keith Lee, if it was him being complacent, I'm not giving him shit for fucking not being good. I'm saying, dude, don't rest. Fucking run that shit. Keith Lee is wonderful. Keith Lee is amazing, and I want him to be one of the greats. And he can't be one of the greats if he's sitting there complacent, wondering what's going on. Granted, I also know WWE is weird, right? Let's not pretend WWE is It's, I get in here and I can just do this, and it. No, it's WWE is weird. But in a time like this, when everything's shut down, when you're not getting daily reps, when you're not on the road 5 days a week, you live in Orlando, you should be going to the Performance Center as much as you can, if you have that ability. Right? And I'm kind of sick of people giving Vince shit for this, because this is one of the things I don't think Vince should be get shit for at all. Because even if he's like, you have to go, 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 who fucking cares who he told he has to go? Because they should be going no matter what.
Well, and I mean, they get mad at, and when I say they, I'm referring to the internet wrestling community. They get mad at Vince when
IWC.
They start pushing guys like Keith Lee, or they bring guys up from the Performance Center, and they're not used the right way. They're not pushed the right way. They're not pushed in the way that the fan feels they should be pushed. And Keith Lee is still a big staple of Monday Night Raw. He's been on it every week since he's been called up. He's been in, and it's not like he's, jobbing to the wrong people. Like, the people he's losing to when he loses are prominent names. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And instead of yanking him from TV, instead of burying like they do everybody fucking else, Vince goes, hey, I need you to go do some extra work so you can get better. Okay, cool. You're leaving him on TV, all that, you know what I mean? Like, so this is a better move than moves Vince has made in the past. So it said that Vince really sees like a mega push for Keith Lee. Well, then I'm going to do whatever the fuck my boss tells me if they're going to push me to the moon, as long as I do it. Like,
right. Like I said earlier, I think the first three of those people, because they're all fairly new to the business, like the guys like Dio Madden, big dude that's behind AJ Styles, and Dabba-Kato. So those guys are homos, whatever his name is.
Homos? No homos.
No homos. But those three guys, they're all fairly new to the business. They're fairly green. Like, I can see why sending those three. The other ones, like, the reason they say apparently send Otis is they say Otis has been working stiff lately. And
Good.
That's probably,
Good. I think people should work stiff. Some people should work stiff. It's not like you're injuring anybody. Fuck, dude. Man, how many people acting old school work stiff? Look at JBL. JBL is one of the stiffest workers in the fucking world. Right?
Yeah. Also, one of the biggest locker room bullies is a whole problem.
I think with Otis, it's probably more of a stamina thing, because he's been a tag team wrestler the whole time. So he's only had to do like half of the work. So again, he has a very selective move set, and especially being a tag team wrestler, he didn't really need one. But if they're giving him a singles push, he needs to hone his skills.
No, Vince wanted him to lose some weight.
That'll probably come with the extra reps. I mean, it is what it is. But you get a guy, okay, he can only do 3 things. Let's get him down to the Performance Center so he can do 6 things and, whatever. And he's a big guy, so if he only does 6 things, it's kind of believable.
I mean, hell, man. All you need is 5 moves of doom, bro. You can be a top dude in that fucking company.
For 15 years.
Right?
I mean, the Caterpillar is basically like the 5-knuckle shuffle.
It's the worm with an elbow drop.
Yeah.
So it's a caterpillar. Worms have no arms to do elbow drops. Some bitch. All right. Let's talk about wrestling's great interpromotional stampede. Kenny Omega be showing up on shit, bro. Kenny Omega was on like 3 different shows this week. Barely on his own.
At the same time.
Right, yeah. Like Triple Mania? Wasn't he on Triple Mania?
Yep, Triple Mania.
He was on.
He's a mega champion.
He's
a mega champion. He's triple I mega champion still.
He cut a promo on Impact. He cut the same promo the next night.
Okay, I have to think about that, bro.
Why? Hold on. You'll have your chance to talk. Then he was on Resolution. And while he was on Resolution, he was also defending his AAA championship live.
with a fucking avalanche one-winged angel.
Yeah. I love how they present his bus like it's an episode of The Bachelor, though. Like
I love how his promo on Impact kind of set shit up for him to just win belts all over companies.
The Ultimate Dragon.
That some bitch was like, I like to think of myself more as a collector of belts. Okay, Kenny, let's do it, bitch.
You got too excited.
Let's be very honest here, right? I have always said Kenny Omega was a really, really good wrestler. I've also said that a lot of his shit was overrated, right? But again, I say The Undertaker is the most overrated person in wrestling, right? And I say that not saying The Undertaker sucks. I don't think The Undertaker sucks. I think he's one of the best big men in wrestling history, right? But when people throw him on their Mount Rushmore as the top 4 in wrestling, I'm like, no, bro, he's not. He's not a top 4. If you put him on a Mount Rushmore of big men, yes. When you put him in, that's why I say in wrestling, he's the most overrated people in wrestling because so many people, in my opinion, put him so high up the list. But it's not like he sucks. It's not like he's average. It's not like he is minimal. Undertaker is great. It is fun to watch him wrestle. That gimmick has lasted the end of time. So again, I still say this. I think Kenny Omega sometimes is overrated, right? I don't think he puts out the best match every fucking time he goes out there. I think he does a lot of repetitive shit in his matches, but it doesn't mean he sucks. It doesn't mean he's bad. And it doesn't mean he doesn't have crossover appeal that can bring other companies a lot of fucking views. And if you look at Impact's Twitch views this week, it fucking shows.
It almost hit 1 million.
All right. Okay, so I made sure, like I always record Impact, might watch it, might not. I made sure I watched it live this week because of the Kenny thing. And then because Kenny was on Impact, I watched AEW over NXT live because I wanted to see what would happen. I was slightly disappointed when literally the only thing that happened on AEW was the same exact thing that happened on Impact. But with that being said, just an example of how this helps Impact greatly is I bought Impact Plus last night so I could watch Final Resolution.
Boom.
Not necessarily that I was interested in the matches that were going on, which, by the way, I have
all
thoughts
9
on
of
those.
them.
But I watched to see what Kenny and Don Chalice were doing there. Like, that is literally why I tuned in. And I'm more, when it comes to Impact or AEW or New Japan or ROH, I always know what's going on via the internet, but I'm more of a casual fan for them, whereas like I watch all of WWE. Well, more so because I know people. The more people I get to know in these other promotions, the more invested I get. I mean, that's just how it works. But you have a casual fan tuning into your product now because I want to see what happens, like what's happening with all this. Like, is Tony Khan buying Impact? Is this a working relationship? Is this AEW's second show? Like, what are they doing? Is Kenny going to go to New Japan? Like, can we get Kenny holding you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways. And the only good thing about him cutting the same promo every fucking time is you still really don't know what the fuck is going on. So you're still going to keep tuning in. And this is probably the first time in about a decade where I'm actually interested because I have no idea where the fuck they're going with this, but I am very, very curious to find out.
Smitty.
So, when you said about them cutting the same promo on Impact and on Dynamite, I understand why they would do that because, yes, having Kenny on Impact, it brought more viewers over there. But the accessibility of Impact, unless you Walt here, he said he doesn't even want to bother with Twitch, even though you can watch for free on Twitch. Not everybody has Twitch, and not everybody has Access TV. So cutting that same promo on Dynamite kind of made sense because you may have not seen the promo Impact, which I thought was delivered better on Impact as well. With Dark.
But okay, all right. But if you want to watch Impact, like if you're really that interested, you're gonna find a way to watch it via YouTube before it's taken down, or you're gonna go to the free Impact site, and you know what I mean. So, I don't know. I think one of Kenny's biggest flaws, like he's a great wrestler. Like Mikey said, he does a lot of repetitive shit that I don't always agree with, but I mean, some of it's cool to watch. But the guy is not a promo guy. The guy's not.
Oh, that's why Don Callis is with him, and it's perfect.
Well, but the problem is you have Don Callis with them, but Kenny's doing most of the talking, and most of the shit that comes out of Kenny's mouth is clearly a scripted promo that he just reads here and here and here and here. So I actually made a comment on one of the platforms last night to somebody saying that while this is a good thing for all companies involved, it's also exposing one of Kenny's greatest weaknesses, and that's promo work. I mean, but back to the whole practice thing, like you're not going to get better unless you have the reps in. So it's cool, but at the same time, like I find Kenny boring. I find Kenny as boring as face Randy Orton.
Promo-wise?
Yeah, promo-wise. Like, I love watching his like, I won't say love, but I never really understood the hype. But again, I was like a casual New Japan fan. Right. So after watching him wrestle live on TV in AEW, I was like, okay, I get it. But then I watch him cut a promo, and I'm like, okay, I don't get it anymore. Because when I think of the best wrestler in the world, I think of the most well-rounded, and Kenny's promo work is a gaping flaw. Whereas everything else seems to be in order. It's just I feel if you're the best wrestler in the world, you're good to great at everything, maybe not an absolute master of everything.
Yeah, I'll give you that. 100%.
Player of all, master of none.
Kinda. I mean, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none, but a master of what is it? Master of none, but still better than a master of one.
Good one.
So he shows up on Final Resolution as well. It's the first interaction between him and Carl Anderson in fucking years on TV. I guess what I want to kind of get at is like, remember we were talking about last week, Smitty. You were just like, I don't understand where this is good for them as well, right? For Impact, like this is like there could be a
I said it
problem.
was good for everybody.
Okay. Trying to remember maybe it was the other stuff that we were talking about then. So obviously Impact views fly up. I highly doubt that we're getting a purchase of Impact, though it's a great tease, right? Kenny being a collector of belts, do you think that Kenny takes the Impact World Championship?
If Moose doesn't. If Moose doesn't, it'll be Kenny.
All right, so I have a question about that because what was it on Impact? They had they kind of planted seeds for a Rich Swann
Moose
Kenny
program.
feud. Well, no, they planted seeds when Rick Swann walked up to the guy at the bus and security guy was there and like, sorry, Impact champ, not on the list, and like turned him away.
Josh
so
Matthews.
they kind of planted seeds with that for Kenny and Rich Swann. But then you have Moose, who's obviously after last night is coming after Swann's belt. I guess my question is, do you guys think they're going to put the title on Moose and then do Moose versus Kenny, and Kenny wins both the TNA and the Impact World Championship belt? Or does Rick Swann beat Moose, become both, and then Kenny takes it from him? Because I mean, the way I see things going, no matter who has the belt, Kenny's probably taking it if this is what we're doing.
But they also found a resolution with the whole bus thing. They kind of may have teased Good Brothers versus Bucks as well. They planted seeds for that and find a resolution.
All right, so I got a quick question because I really don't know.
Hold on. Let's answer the first question.
Okay.
Smitty, answer the question.
So, do I think you'll probably get a better match out of Swan and you get a better mesh in the style between Swan and Omega than you would out of Moose. So I think having Swan as a giant killer would give him a little bit more credibility as champion before going to get somebody like Omega. So I think if anybody, it'll be Swan versus Omega.
I also think Swan versus Omega is the way to go. I think that's the match that's going to be. It's going to be the star match. Moose is good. I'm not trying to knock Moose, but when you're talking about two styles and how cohesive they will be in the ring, Omega Swan is the top draw.
That's what I said.
I was agreeing. Okay. So, what was your next question?
My next question is, who originally started the Bullet Club? Like, what were the original members?
The first member.
I know.
Fergal Devitt was in a tag team, and he turned on his partner with the help of Bad Luck Fale. So those are your first two.
I thought Carl Anderson.
I think your next one was Carl Anderson.
Oh, and then you get the Tongas after that.
Yeah, and then the Tongas, and then Gallows also came in after that. So if you're looking for your first original, Carl Anderson is OG Bullet Club.
Right. In fact, I thought it was him and Balor that, like, behind the scenes came up with the idea. Like, I thought it was, like, part of his brainchild to do this with Finn.
It may have been.
The group was get all the guys in one group.
Yeah.
Okay, but
the Western people in New Japan.
And then, so of Kenny Omega, like, when does Kenny Omega fall into this? This was after AJ was the leader?
Yeah, Kenny's like post AJ.
He took over for AJ. When they kicked AJ out, that's when Kenny took over.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were announcing Kenny as the newest member, and then super kick. AJ's gone. Kenny's running it.
So the only way to have, like, a real reunion would be as if Finn left WWE.
Finn or AJ and AJ.
But I'm saying the original, like, was Finn, Fale, and Carl Anderson. So to have a actual reunion of the original, Finn would have to leave WWE.
Or WWE would have to be actually open to working with other companies, regardless of just saying it.
Yeah.
I could see that for NXT though, because
you're right.
They do like business wise and contract wise and social media wise. NXT seems to be completely different rule set than main roster, because there are still NXT people, and I don't know, maybe they shut them down too, that were doing cameos and Twitches, but flew under Vince's fucking radar because it's NXT.
Yeah, and that's where they started. It was a lot of the NXT people, and then the WWE people started doing it, and that's when Vince caught wind of it, because people were making, the fucking dude from The Office this year, the guy that spilled the chili, Kevin.
Okay.
He's the highest paid member on Cameo. The founders of Cameo did some sort of something interview, and they were like, yeah, that guy's gonna make over $1 million just from our fucking app.
Our platform.
That's amazing.
Are you fucking kidding me? $1 million just for saying, hey everybody, it's so and so. I'm wishing you a happy birthday. Bye. You fucking cut a 15-second clip, and this motherfucker's gonna make $1 million goddamn dollars, and his shit's not even that expensive.
Yeah.
Fucking hate Cameo now, by the way. Fuck Cameo.
Why? Why do you hate Cameo?
So, Cameo used to be a real cool way to interact with your fans, right? It was drop $50, you drop $100 maybe, depending on how popular the person was. And you have good fan interaction. You got MJF who jumped on there, threw a $600 one. Ric Flair did a $500 one. Now you got fucking Cody Rhodes on there for $1,000 fucking dollars. And it's like, it went from being a cool way to interact with people to, if anyone has a name in anything, they're fucking raping you. It's not just cool, fun, fan interaction anymore. It's now, hey.
It's a business now.
Yeah, it's to the point where it's not a fun business. $1,000 fucking dollars to have someone give you a shout out, cool, right? But how many people are left out in the dust for that?
Yeah, how many people can afford $1,000 when you say hi?
I mean, but at the same time,
how much was the Undertaker's?
It is.
Okay, hold on. Z was talking first. Shut up, Smitty.
It is a business, and people are just pushing boundaries. Like, if somebody's out there for $1,000 and somebody actually pays it and makes it worth their time, it sucks because not everybody has $1,000, so it's not this cool, unique thing anymore. But at the same time, in the interest of making money, if somebody's willing to pay $1,000 to have me say something for 15 seconds, that's their own stupid choice. And I'll gladly take the money.
Yeah, and that's fine, but it takes away from what it originally was. Fun interactions with your fans.
But the people that are charging $1,000, were they on it originally? Like, aren't the people that... Oh, okay, so I was going to say, so the people that were there originally are probably still, doing cheap ones for their fan base. And then these assholes that think they have a bigger name or a bigger following just come out and be like, oh, you want me $1,000? Now, real quick, just touch on the Undertaker thing before giving it to Smitty. The Undertaker only did 30 appearances. So having them at a big markup, I kind of understand, especially, it's a limited edition thing. So we're going to charge a little bit more. I mean, when you think about it, that's 30 at $1,000. That's 30 grand.
2,500.
What?
2,500.
That doesn't make sense. 30 times 1,000 is 30,000.
Yeah, but they charge 2,500 for each one of the takers.
No, I thought it was $1,000. Was it not $1,000? I swear it was $1,000. Because I was like, oh, if you get 10, if we got everybody from, it was $1,000. Because I was like, if we got everybody from our little PSW and BDR war to throw in $100, we could have had an Undertaker cameo. Like, I remember this conversation. It was $1,000. So it's $30,000, and the Undertaker's got to cut a grand total of like 3.5 minutes worth of promo.
Yeah, $1,000.
It was $1,000.
I know how to math, Smitty.
See, and then okay, and I agree. So Flair comes out and he's the first one charging $500. This fucking massive fucking money, right? And he's making it, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, you could charge this much money." And yes, people have upped their price on Cameo. But then you get things like Snoop Dogg's on there for $1,000, right? Wu-Tang Clan's on there for $400. How is that for the kids? How is Wu-Tang for the kids if they're for $400? That's all I'm saying. It's not. Kids can't afford $400. Drew Brees is on there for $600. Floyd Mayweather's on there for $1,000.
But
Floyd Mayweather couldn't read. He can't read what you want him to say.
I don't think now it depends though. Like, if I'm paying $400 for the Wu-Tang Clan, it better be the whole fucking clan, right? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna pay, $400 for
RZA and Jizza.
I mean, maybe, but I want the whole fucking clan.
It's not.
I know it's gonna be like Method Man and Redman and
nope, it's the same one.
Is RZA, Jizza, and Ghostface?
Some blessings. This is King Chief Jamil Ari from the Wu-Tang Clan. When I think about when I hear the name Clicks, for an artist to sound rugged, I think about our song like something in the horn went click, click, clicks. It just sound like you're supposed to be coming through rugged. Like if you're coming through.
That's it.
Deep.
That's all who's cutting them promos.
Yeah, no, not worth $400.
Just for Raekwon.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
No.
Is Method Man on there? How much is Method Man?
Method Man.
MBTHOD, man.
I know how to spell it.
No, that was actually a song.
That was the joke, Smitty. No, he's not on there. Just the whole Wu-Tang Clan. That's not the whole Wu-Tang Clan.
It's just Raekwon. Looking old as hell.
Okay. All right. We got on a fucking tangent. Anyway, sorry, sidecast. The first week has happened of AEW Impact collaboration. Smitty, are you excited? You like the way it's starting? You like the way it's going?
I like the way it's starting. At first, I had a little bit of apprehension about how they felt like Impact was getting punked on Impact. I'm like, well, hell, if you're going to run this whole angle right now, somebody's got to look like the weaker brand, and obviously it's going to be Impact over AEW. So I was a little bit apprehensive about that, but then I'm just seeing the little progress that they've done just in this 1 week. So I'm still excited to see how this is going to go moving forward.
Z.
I like that they're keeping me on my toes. I like that I still don't really know what's going on. I'm just kind of speculating at this point. It's one of those storylines or things that kind of keeps wrestling fun because no matter who you are at the moment, you're waiting till next week to see what happens next. You may not like what happens next, or you may love it, but you're still waiting to see what happens, and you're going to tune in. I don't see anything bad about this right now at all. I mean, they might try like some invasion angle, in which if they do, I hope it's original. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not just like a knockoff of like previous invasion angles that we've seen that have failed.
Oh, actually use a top star from your company during your invasion?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of different ways this could go. So, I mean, it's just nice to have something to look forward to in wrestling after months of having nothing to look forward to.
It definitely is one of the biggest things in wrestling right now. As a matter of fact, it's even affecting some of the people in New Japan because Tama Tonga threw out a tweet today. I believe it was today. Yep. Early this morning, shortly before we went, about an hour before we went on. And it says, if you're not in Bullet Club 2020, you're not Bullet Club.
Interesting. Can we open up that door? Like, can we rebuild some bridges to New Japan? Possibly.
It sounds like they are. The Bucks did an interview about how this whole Impact thing was actually supposed to happen before the pandemic, but it kind of slowed down talks. When AEW first started, they were supposed to have a working relationship with Impact. It just never panned out. But with the pandemic and everything, and Impact on the rise like this, it's like the perfect opportunity. But they also touched upon like possible working relationships with New Japan and stuff, which you kind of already figured, because there has been lately, more so than any other time in AEW, there's been a lot of mention of New Japan. And I know it's mainly because of, the Kenny and Moxley build, and now Kenny's the champion, so you talk about it, but they don't say things like, oh yeah, and he was a champion in other prominent promotions or anything. Like they literally say New Japan Wrestling, which I know that's a WWE thing, not to say your competition's name and not maybe an AEW thing, but it would be interesting if let's say, just, spitballing here, this leads to a working relationship with AEW, Impact, ROH, and New Japan.
So that also brings AAA in because AAA is working with both promotions already.
But I mean, okay, so literally every major wrestling promotion that isn't WWE is working together. Like that's interesting. And you can do a lot of things with that. And you could also fuck up a lot of things with that. But I'm interested to see where it's going.
And I like it also like the fact that Rocky Romero, who's kind of a big guy over in Japan, backstage, he's friends with the Bucks. So that you see that I can see that relationship being amended at some point. It's fun. It's fun time to be a wrestling fan. There's so much possibility out there with this type of thing.
It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan and not watch WWE because really. I mean, SmackDown's okay, NXT's okay, but the prominent story in wrestling right now is everything that's happening outside of WWE.
Yep. And that's amazing because it's what it should be, especially because fuck WWE. Fucking hate them right now.
It's funny because like I'm laughing at you saying that, but then like Walt's post about like you can like everything else and not shit talk with WWE. Like it's hard when they keep doing stupid shit.
See, but that's the thing, though. I'm not shit-talking WWE for the fucking stuff they're putting on screen.
I'm shit-talking WWE for the shit they're doing behind the scenes with people that shouldn't be fucking working there.
That's the point. That's my thing right there. I don't give a fuck what you're doing on screen. I guarantee if I was watching it, I would find all kinds of good things about the stuff that's on those shows. I don't watch it. My eyes do not go to it at all. Outside of when we have these pay-per-views, for Pro Wrestling Scorecards versus BDR, I guarantee you after TLC, I won't fucking watch a goddamn WWE thing at all.
Until the Rumble.
Huh?
Until the Rumble.
Why? Why am I going to watch the Rumble?
I don't know.
I'm not invested in any part of their product at all, in any way, shape, or form. The only thing I was invested in is not on the docket anymore for this WrestleMania.
Rock and Roman.
I'm a Rock mark. That's it. You want to get me in? There you go. You bring the Rock. But Rock and Roman is gone because Vince wants more fans in the seats for that. And since they're not doing it, they're not doing that WrestleMania in California, he's going to go more likely with Big E.
I thought it was Goldberg. Or are they going to do Goldberg at the Rumble?
Goldberg's possible too. Right? It's either way. It's nothing that I'm interested in. I have no interest in WWE at all right now with anything. And again, it's not because of the shit they're putting on screen because I don't know. I was never angry about the shit that they're putting on screen. I have to even admit, I love the way this Roman character was fleshing out when I'm watching just pay-per-views. But because of how shitty they're handling backstage situations with all of these people who are coming out saying that these people were sexually assaulted, that someone forced themselves on them. And WWE's like, we're still going with these people.
Matt Riddle. This bro nuts.
Riddle, Austin Theory, Velveteen Dream. Like, it's not one, dude. It's not one. Right? Like, the Sammy Guevara thing annoys me still about AEW. Right? I felt like it was they shortcutted it. And I hate the fact that it was shortcutted. Okay? Like, I'm not saying that Guevara deserved more than what he was given. I'm saying he deserved exactly what he was given, but they shortcutted it.
They shortcutted it to put him back on TV. Put him back on TV.
When they say he was gone for 90 days, motherfucker, you filmed that shit 3 weeks ago. He wasn't gone for 90 days or 60 days, or whatever it was. He wasn't gone. And that's fine. But don't try and bullshit me about it. Okay? Like, I'm not saying that Sammy Guevara was so fucking horrible that he deserved to be fired or suspended for longer or dropped from Inner Circle.
You say he deserved to be punished.
He just deserved a punishment. And that punishment that you gave him, you should have stuck with it. That's all it is about AEW. But WWE is over here going, I like this guy. He's a top draw. We're going to keep him. I don't care that he touched somebody he shouldn't have touched. For 3 different people. For more than one instance on all 3 of those people. One, all right, whatever, man. I get it. Like that's a he said, she said thing. Each one of these people, now especially with Austin Theory and the video proof, bro, come on. Get rid of people. Show your company. You can't tell me you're doing this whole fucking thing for women's evolution, and then a woman says something behind the scenes about a guy that you like, and they're fucking there still.
Well, okay, and let's deviate away from fucking sexual assault. Let's go with full-blown racism and bigotry. Lars Sullivan is still on TV. I mean, I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks, but they brought him back.
They brought him back just for him not to be on TV. He's not on SmackDown.
But the problem is, like, okay, Austin Theory, Velveteen Dream, and Matt Riddle are very, very, very talented. They had a bright future, in my opinion. In my opinion, the three of them should no longer be employed by any wrestling company. But then you have Lars Sullivan, who is just flat out, like, doesn't give a fuck about how racist he is, and he's not talented. So, like, really, get rid of him. Like, he's not talented, which is the only reason you're keeping sexual predators around, and he outright makes your company look bad on social media. Those are fireable offenses that nobody would even fucking question. Like, you're afraid to get rid of Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream and Austin Theory because you think they're going to go somewhere else and be big fucking stars. So be it. At least you released Zelina Vega for fucking keeping her fucking Twitch account and, third-party social medias, but you won't get rid of these guys that have been accused of sexual assault. I don't give a fuck if it's still pending lawsuits and trials and all that shit. Like, until that shit is sorted out, those people should be off TV, on the bench, suspended without fucking pay. Like, look at Enzo. Enzo actually was falsely accused of rape and was let go.
Rich Swann, yeah, accused of battery.
Without question, let go, no problem. Handled the way I personally believe situations like that should be handled. Now, in Enzo's case, I mean, they should have suspended him without pay. I mean, Enzo's a little bit different of a case only because he lied to them about what was going on. If he was honest to them what was going on, they would have just taken him off TV until they sorted this shit out and then made up their mind, which is personally the right thing to do. But you have Matt Riddle, who was accused, and then multiple witnesses came out and said that they saw it, like multiple witnesses, not just like, oh, her best friend said this. Like, no, there was multiple people that are like, yeah, that shit used to happen all the fucking time. All right, Riddle, you're gone. Then Austin Theory, the minute you got accused of fucking around with a 13-year-old, you're gone. And he was suspended until they figured it out. It turns out it was just an accusation, but now there's video proof of some shit. I'll be quite honest with you guys. I looked for the video. I cannot find it. I have no idea. Like, the Wrestling Insider, I think, is the one that reported on it. They said it was uploaded to a popular adult website. I went to all the popular adult websites I know and looked for Austin Theory, and I couldn't find things other than him like posing in spandex. Nothing that really alludes to him hooking up with a 13-year-old. But at the same time,
the old Jordan Devlin thing too is another one was caught up in this, and he's back on.
The only problem with that, Smitty, is in the UK there are different laws about ages of people and as far as minors go and shit like that. So that's a whole different ball game. Doesn't make it right, but
no means no.
It wasn't that these people forcibly like raped other people. Like, let's get that straight right now. But we're talking like statutory rape, trying to hook up with minors, verging on maybe kiddie porn. Who knows? I haven't seen hard drives. But the minute you get, especially with your fan base, like, there are children in your fan base. Like, get the fuck rid of these people. You don't need them. Like, clearly, and we talked about it earlier, NXT does not need any of those people because they're just going to fucking get rid of them and move new pieces in place, and they're still going to come out with a phenomenal product. Like, the one thing WWE has proven by just the release of Zelina Vega is that you're just a spoke in the wheel. So get rid of these fucking 4, replace them with different fucking spokes, and let's keep the wheel turning. Sorry, I went off.
No, that's exactly what it is. Basically, what they're saying is, like you said, Smitty said, Zelina Vega got fired for saying no. Basically, WWE is like, a woman can't say no. A woman said no on all those other instances. In every instance, and they all got released.
To be fair, Velveteen Dream was I don't think it was females. I think
that's true. It's all boys.
Underage boys.
That's true.
He's like he should go, his next gimmick should be a priest.
Ooh.
Terms expressed here on Breaking Down the Ring are the thoughts of the ring crew only, and sometimes just Z.
I mean, at the same time, yeah, he's white. No. Yeah. It's but we went on a tangent because that's what it is. After TLC, I guarantee you I'm not watching another fucking moment of WWE. And again, it's not because of what's going on television. I have nothing bad to say about WWE's television stuff because I haven't watched it. What I've watched, I had no problem with. And I've only watched it because before I took my vow of fuck WWE, we made an arrangement. So I don't know how I do so well on the scorecards. I don't fucking watch it.
You got to find the right website.
I don't do that either.
That'll just clip note the week, clip note entire 2 weeks.
I will say, yeah. I mean, I guess that's what it is because there are times like I'll go to fucking the videos on YouTube and I'm not watching WWE videos. I'm watching people talk about the things that happened on the shows. So because they're talking about the things that happen on the show, I'm getting a correlation of what's going on.
You're pretty much clip note the entire product.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's probably what I should probably go back to doing. That's when I was winning. When I was clip noting the damn WWE product.
There you go. Go right back to it. I'm doing great. I don't know if you know this or not. I've had 2 goose eggs, but I'm still number 2 overall for score, Mr. No Goose Egg. Maybe you should get a goose egg. Not this time.
Hell no.
It's the end of it right now.
Yeah, like I say, final stretch. My consistent scoring. My consistent scoring has been doing me fairly well right now.
Yeah, you're consistently at 3 or 4 points. Sometimes you'll hit 6. Ooh. Ooh. Big time. Ooh. Let's look at your score while we're waiting for Z to come back.
I make my shots.
Yeah, you had a 10. You had a 10. You had a 4 at All Out, 2 at Clash, TakeOver 31. You had a 10, 3 at Bound for Glory. Because Impact is your shit.
I know I overthought that one for sure.
3 for Hell in a Cell, 8 for Full Gear, 8 for Survivor Series, 6 for TakeOver and War Games. All right, so good job, Smitty. You only got 2 3s and a 2.
Better than 2 sales.
No goose eggs. Then you get to my scores and it's 8, 0, 4, 15, 15, 4, 12, 0. 2 goose eggs, but man, them 15s. Until Nick just did it for Full Gear, I was the only one to have 2 15s. Now Nick's the only one to have 3 15s.
Nice.
There's a reason we're running this shit.
Because we're that damn good?
Yeah, that's it. So Nick at 15-1. We have to look at these scores. I haven't figured out the champ for December yet.
I think it's Nick still.
You think it's Nick still? We'll look at it. I don't know, because we'll find out. We'll take a look at it. I don't know where Z went. I'm trying to end the show.
It's either Nick or Z.
It's who?
It's Nick or Z, most likely.
Oh, I did not think you said that.
What, you thought I said me?
No. Oh. Say what you said again, but fast.
I said it's either Nick or Z.
Oh! There you go. That's what I thought you said. I was like, whoa.
Oh, I can say that word.
Whoa.
It's not. It's not. It's. I kind of went Mark Twain.
We had a Black Z.
I kind of went Mark Twain on Z.
Right. It's the old restaurant server line. Would you like a super salad with that? You have a super salad? I'll take the super salad. No, super salad.
Yeah.
I kind of went. So
I went Mark Twain on him.
The show without him.
Yeah, ready.
So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to breakingdownthering.com, pick up any of your Ring Crew merch. Currently, Smitty is the only one wearing something that you could purchase at the shop. This is limited fucking edition, bitch.
Because he's special.
I'm special.
Special ed.
But soon, you will be able to get a brand new Ring Crew shirt on breakingdownthering.com. So go to breakingdownthering.com. Check out our official merchandise. We really appreciate that. Really appreciate you watching us, listen to us. Follow us on all of our socials at BDRcast. We are your Ring Crew.
Nigga Jimmy Smith.
And for Z, who's not there right now but should be, I am the almighty one, Mikey himself. Thank you so much for watching. We are out.
Sorry.